Patience. We're now exploring the parami of patience. Kanti. It's a quality that hasn't come easily to me. And frankly, there are times when it doesn't come easily. I can act out of impatience. I can speak out of impatience. I've caused harm to this self and others out of impatience. My dad, who I think was pretty much a pretty patient guy, but every now and then when he was in a hurry, he used to go zip 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 zip. Oh, and I hated that. I hated the way it made me feel. The absence of patience hurts. And even sitting here right now, maybe it's true for you too. I can feel impatience, that energy of impatience. And it certainly has nothing to do with anybody here. That's here. What happens physiologically when we grow impatient? This isn't the way I want it to go. This isn't how I want it to be. We can feel that fast moving forward energy. It's speedy. And for sure, there are ways in which our species has depended on that fast moving, urgent energy. Our survival has depended on it. We come by this honestly. But still, get out of the way. This is too slow. People seem to keep getting in our way. You know, like that old guy at the pharmacy who just takes 1,000 hours trying to get his debit card out. Impatience. We feel the grip tight bearing down. The view snaps really into a tight focus, doesn't it? It does when we're impatient. There's a lot of suffering in impatience. And I can often feel the impulse to put my hand on my heart and say to myself, oh boy, this is difficult. Patience isn't the absence of anger or frustration or irritation. It's the ability to stay with the pain, steady. Easy does it. We want to understand that patience is a skill that allows one to pause, really pause long enough to see the situation clearly, whether it's internal or it's outside. And then respond with care, with some spaciousness. Patience is an ability to wait something out or endure something tedious without getting so riled up. But of course we get riled up, right? Then we want to course correct. We want to cultivate patience so that we can be more at ease with discomfort, a little more skillful, less reactive. When we cultivate patience, we expand our capacity to accept and tolerate a little more, a delay, an interference, a frustration. I want to share a story with you about a phone conversation overheard on the bus. Well, one side of it was overheard. And it's a true story because I wrote it down when I got home. I'll set the scene. It's the 10:15 p.m. bus leaving Port Authority. And I was late getting on the bus, so I didn't get my preferred window seat. It's a full bus. We pull out, and across the aisle from me is a woman who begins a lengthy and relatively loud conversation on her phone. And I can feel my impatience starting to kind of rev up inside of me, impatience for anyone who feels entitled or so inconsiderate, right, to talk on the phone in a bus. You kind of look around for other people's like rolling eyes to kind of acknowledge that you're not alone with this feeling. And I had been working with Susan for a while, so I had heard her supports of ground, breathe, calm, settle, and soothe. Ground the live wire of irritation to the breath, and the breath to the body, and the body to the ground. So I'm here practicing on this bus, and she's talking. A few minutes into the call, I hear something that sparks some curiosity. So I start to get engaged now with what she's saying. And I'm not eavesdropping because this is being offered freely and loudly, okay, right? She keeps repeating the name of the person she's talking to. We'll call him Richard. And her tone is relatively soft and patient. Richard, just listen, Richard. Calm down. No, I'm trying to explain this to you. Richard, I am. I'm trying to help you. Richard, click on Google. No, Richard, you cannot miss it. Richard, it's at the top of the page. At the top of the page. There's a tab. It says tab. Click on it, Richard. Click on tab. I'm thinking to myself, oh, Richard doesn't seem to be understanding this, or maybe he's not cooperating. I'm kind of imagining how I might feel. Can't you just get it, Richard? As I think about Richard on the other end of the line, I think about those experiences where anxiety or not feeling like I can do something really makes it difficult to process anything. I don't know if you've had that experience where you look and you're trying to see something, you don't see it, it's there. Richard, I did not do it yesterday because it was greater than 24 hours and the airline would not allow me. Richard, I work 18 hours a day. When would you have me do it? When should I have done it? Punch in the authorization number at the top. Look at the top, Richard. This is elementary. Then you will have to miss the flight. Okay, you're gonna have to miss the top. On the top of the screen. I'm not there. I can't see it for you. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. She hangs up. Now it's quiet. As an aside, I found myself kind of hoping that Richard would call her back, or that maybe she would call him back. But that doesn't happen on this bus ride. This little story is all about impatience. Her impatience, Richard's impatience, my impatience. You can feel the fraying edges of patience. What do we need when we start to feel our edges fraying? Developing patience takes effort, and it takes a deliberate intention to respond patiently. Our practice is teaching this to us. And think of all the times that we have explored metta here. We can feel the metta of patience. Patience as a gentle forbearance, patience as a soft perseverance. How do we grow patience? We set the deliberate intention to identify the impulses of impatience, or the impulse to pick up that hot coal of agitation and distress. We want to grow the willingness to choose calm. Can I be with this? We do. We want to ground the live wire of impatience to the breath, and the breath to the body, and the body to the ground. Can I stay grounded even with this agitation? Can I be with it, but not in it, and not driven by it? We can feel for the reactivity and pause and feel for a perspective beyond, a wider view. According to Ajahn Sukito, one of the traditional chanted recitations in Buddhism refers to Buddha's own confrontation with the demon host of Mara. And that's just what is difficult, what challenges us. And the Buddha overcame Mara through practicing patience. He overcame the forces of delusion, anger, fear, aversion, and greed through practicing patience. Not blaming anyone, or ignoring those forces, or running away from them. So when you're stuck, he writes, in a traffic jam, or anxious for a resolution or to a crisis, or beset with a migraine, it's good to remember the Buddha was here too and found a way through. In an age where one is encouraged not to wait, but go faster, not to accept, but to be more demanding, this parami of patience may be the one you use most frequently to cross the floods. Patience. Thank you for listening.